We got a Honda Civic!
Yes, we did. It arrived as a roller with half of its guts on a pallet. It probably should have just gone straight
In the bin!
But no, we hatched a plan to see just how much work it would be to bring this forgotten driveway ornament back to life and get it back onto the road. Unfinished projects like this often are cheap and, as we discovered, often missing lots of stuff. It's kind of like buying a box of Lego, only there's no instructions and half the bits have been eaten by your dog. So we jumped on the internet and bought a bunch of stock replacement and aftermarket parts and got to work piecing this junk back together. There were lots of surprises along the way, mostly bad ones where stuff was missing or it just didn't fit. It tested our patience and our sleep patterns as we brought this whole rebuild to you, full disrespected nose with the good, the bad and the ugly, all included. Civics cop a lot of flack on the internet for being too small, too slow, too ugly, too front-wheel drive, but we weren't going to let that stop us. So, two mates, a smattering of mechanical ability between them, and a box full of tools, that's where we landed. And the truth is, it took a lot longer than we thought.
There's so much noise, but I'm still whispering. Do you still need me? Like I need you? Or has everything we were now gone away? Do you still need me? Like I need you? Or has everything we were now gone
And slowly, the wins came. We got suspension and brakes back in, we gave the engine a full refresh, a new clutch, a new wiring loom and Haltech ECU to run the show, plus some tasty upgrades like e-throttle, a skunk manifold headers exhaust, a whale penis intake and a front end facelift. Could we have bought a stock Civic off the internet that's basically the same as what we ended up with? Yeah, maybe, but for 3 times the price and no experience or knowledge to show for it. This Civic fought back, but eventually we got the key turned and the engine fired back into life after sitting around for years. With it running, we went to the dyno, and after fixing some VTEC-yo issues, it spun up 77 kilowatts, which is not world-beating by any means, but the car starts, runs and drives reliably, and now that it does, we can fine-tune it for the full Honda experience.
After the dyno, it was time for the Civic to come home with me, and Marty assumed it would be crushed. I often asked myself throughout this build, why does Marty love this car so much? And I soon came to the realisation that I don't think I'll ever get it. But I also don't need to. Everyone has different values and sees the world through their own lens. But when there's people around you that you love and care about, you don't always have to understand them. You don't even have to agree with them. You just have to respect how they feel. And then, if you can, you support them with everything you've got. Because ultimately, this respect and support is what brings us all together, even when we have our differences. And that's what this build was all about.
We tried all there is to try. I'm not gonna let you fall this time. Let me hold you. I won't let anybody hurt you.
This project was meant to be a 2-day build, get the engine in and call it done. Instead, it turned into a 2-month Honda extravaganza to bring this Civic back to its former glory. Why? Because this guy refused to throw the whole car in the bin, and I'm glad that he didn't, because I'm really proud of how far it's come.
We tried to outrun the night with sleepy eyes on highways. Hold on tight. We need to go a little faster, a little faster. So many miles, the city lights.
car.
Yeah, it's awesome.
How
dude.
many miles an hour are we going?
Oh, I'm just glad that we finally got there. It feels planted, it feels
it
good.
feels really good, actually.
Yeah. Feels like why people like Civics, right?
And you don't need another super fast car anyway. You got Super Games, you got your... It's good to have more fast cars. You always need more fast cars, but this is just a mad little car.
Yeah, it is.
You can take to the track on the weekend, have some fun.
It's right, it looks so good.
Well, I didn't mind the orange, but once the car was like multiple colours anyway because of the face, it had to be painted anyway.
Dude, it's as iconic as Subaru WRC blue.
Yes.
I reckon.
Yeah.
This yellow and the Civic red.
Let's go, mate. Let's go. Yes!
Oh, the boober, the VTEC. Listen to it. Ah! Listen to it sing, dude.
So good.
We have lots of time to listen to it sing. Nah, it's great, man. Oh, it sticks really well. Super flat. Love it, man.
It sounds fantastic.
It sounds good.
Does it feel fun?
It just feels really fun. Yep. It's that very typical sort of like small car that just handles great. Yeah, it's so planted, far out. Wow.
Well, it was a lot more work than either of us expected.
Yes, it was.
Thank you everybody that hung out and watched the build. A few more things to talk about, Martin, and a few exciting things to reveal to the people there. So why don't we head back to the shed?
Yeah, dude. All the VTEC.
Wow.
All the lag, none of the boost, all the good times.
Good job, Martin. Thank you for
Thanks,
taking us
man.
along for the ride.
Dude, that's such a treat. I honestly thought you were going to throw it off a cliff.
Well, you know, it was 50-50 for a minute there.
Threw it into a paint shop. It looks fantastic. Without getting too philosophical, all the best journeys in life often start with a flick of a marketplace or a Craigslist or a Gumtree or an eBay, and you end up with this. Because you buy some sort of cheap nugget, you think, this will be so much fun. I'll smash this back together. It can't be that hard. It'll only take 2 days. Everything's there. Ask the seller, hey man, is everything there? Yeah, pretty sure it is. It's all in boxes. It'll be sweet. So, oh, no, it's not.
But you know what, Martin? I feel like we had to complete the circle of civicness. It was 10 years ago that we painted a Civic outside under a tree. We made a roll cage out of PVC.
Yeah.
I mean, I think this was kind of taken where it needed to go. Yes, it took a bit longer, but your enthusiasm drove it, man. You were the steam train, the steam engine of Civic enthusiasm.
I was not prepared to let this unfinished project remain unfinished. And as we've learned, and maybe you've learned if you've come along for this entire very long series, is that it's heaps of work. It's heaps of work, heaps of time. You've got to invest some money into it. There's some shortcuts here and there and some stuff you can do to make it like easier. But generally, fixing an unfinished project may be more work than just buying one. But that's the whole part of the journey.
And would probably cost more as well, particularly once you kind of look at interior, which is not done yet, paint and stuff like that. The other thing that's important to remember is that your car is going to take this much amount of effort and work to get it going, whether it's an old Nugget or whether it's a newer car, whether it's a Rexy or a BRZ or whatever. The difference is newer cars that people are just flash tuning. And I think this is actually a bit old school now, you know, kind of modifying cars in that way.
What's surprising about this old school car is stuff is now hard to find for these cars and expensive. Little spares that you would think cost $5, you go to a Wreckers and they're like $265 for like it's just, it blows my mind. And I don't actually like yellow cars very much. This car in yellow I think looks awesome. I also think that when that car was originally orange and when it was first painted, it probably also looked pretty awesome, but time had not been kind to that paint job. So now we have this.
Yeah, and look, and by the time it's multiple colours, may as well make it right anyway. Now to celebrate the completion, and by completion I mean it's all together and actually works and runs, we have something very, very special, which is, look at this, Martin. This is our limited edition in the bin Civic poster. These are strictly limited. We're going to have these for about a week and we will individually sign your order and ship them anywhere in the world. Awesome original artwork that we've commissioned by Jestami, who's this awesome artist who has done this, and we will ship that anywhere in the world and we will individually sign your order. So if you've been hanging on these videos and watching them, then that is a special little something for you. So
do you love Civics?
Links for that below.
Do you love Civics? Don't answer that. I'm still a little bit on the fence, but I have very much enjoyed working on this era of car. It's been a lot of fun and it's always interesting learning something new.
Well, there it is, everybody. Still a bit more to do, but
Bits and pieces.
basically done. We're
Yeah.
calling it done.
It drives, it works. You can drive it around.
Thank you very much for everybody who followed along this series. And then next up, Martin, something different.
Something different and not disrespected. No more disrespected nose.
Oh, we're getting back to respected nose, aren't
We'll
we?
respect your nose, always with utmost respect.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
Let's go.
See you soon.